What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 Beyond Light news updates. And in this one we're going to talk about exotics being disabled, busted bounties, strikes, and more. We've got a few things kind of breaking inside of this launch week in the game, but we'll also talk about upcoming exotics, quests, and drops like the Cloudstrike, which could be available very soon. And we'll also talk about the upgrades needed for that, some secret areas, as well as a preview for the Cryptolith Law, a new loot system, some additional vendor updates, new exotic catalyst for Season of the Hunt, and much more. But guys, up first, this video is brought to you by Rich Wallets. They sent me a couple of these to check out, and they are my absolute new favorite. And instead of my huge old wallet, you can see these are uber slim and sleek, also able to hold and protect a bunch of cards, and built from industrial materials like this aluminium gold ridge, with a cash strap to hold those additional notes. These things are really neat, and they come in more than 30 styles and colors, with a lifetime warranty, plus you can save 10% with code Houndish in the store. So if you want to check that out, the link is down below. Now, moving swiftly into the video, we do have a few updates about things in the game at the moment, and Bungie Help tweeted, due to an issue, we have temporarily disabled moon repeatable bounties. And you may have seen over the past couple of days that folks were able to earn very significant amounts of XP with those bounties on the moon. However, as it turns out today, it is still possible to get these very significant amounts of XP via bounties, because both Banshees and Varric's repeatable bounties are essentially doing the exact same things as the ones were on the moon. So my friend Jarv has a video about exactly how you can complete those bounties really quickly, but if they haven't been disabled at the time of this video going live, it looks pretty likely they're going to be disabled later on, because repeatable bounties from both of these vendors are still offering way more XP than they should be. So if you want to take advantage of any of that, there isn't going to be long left. Another one to bear in mind though is that currently the Witherhoard exotic grenade launcher is disabled until further notice. And of course this is on top of the fact that trials won't return until November 27th, most likely because of some kind of infinite super glitch that has been circulating. And then there are other things. And just yesterday, they switched out the Exodus Crash Nightfall to Nightfall the Ordeal the Disgraced for the rest of the week, so if you do want to check that one out, we can do so before reset. And so of course, with so many changes going live in the game, there are a couple of issues here and there to bear in mind. Now though, let's discuss upcoming content and some of the things which we might get access to pretty soon. One which I hadn't paid a lot of attention to would be the Cloudstrike. Of course, a lot of the exotics in this expansion are quest drops. But kind of like the exotic armor, the Cloudstrike is going to have a specific drop source, which is listed as a rare drop from elected difficulty Empire hunts. That bit may not be news, but of course, Empire hunts on elect difficulty aren't available yet because we can only upgrade to the third perk in each tier of the sabotage inventory at Varric's. However, we'll probably get to unlock more next week, and while we can't see it in game, the database does tell us that the fourth perk in tier 2 is the one that grants us access to those elect difficulty hunts. So in theory, it's going to be one of the first upgrades we'll be able to do after reset on Tuesday. And that'll be the upgrade for European Explorer 2. To get it, we'll need to defeat powerful combatants, but we can see once again, it unlocks access to elect difficulty for Empire hunts. And so if you want to start farming the exotic sniper, the best bet we currently have is to get all of the Varric's upgrades done for this week, farm out some of the Herowaste pieces in advance as well, so that we have enough to unlock the next set of upgrades on Tuesday, as well as buy more of the hunts, because we're still going to have to spend them to get into elect difficulty hunts as well. However, definitely upgrade the final perk in tier 1 for this week because it does reduce the cost for hunts, so that's pretty useful. I'll be sure to keep you posted if that does start to become available next week. It's a possibility, but we'll wait and find out. And of course the other quest segment for Beyond Light itself is going to be the Lament Quest. And we do know a little bit more about the quest now, however this one is more spoiler heavy. So quick warning about that, but the first step will have us finding dead exos on Europa, and we'll need 3 for the quest, but according to Triumphs in the database, there are a total of 9 collectible dead exos. And they seem to be the brightly coloured various exos laying around in different locations on Europa, so it'll be worth tagging and remembering a few of those. But another big part of the quest will be where we visit a secret area, and this was showed off in my friend Jarv's video recently. I'll link that one down below. We've got this giant exo head there, and it is slightly reminiscent of the kind of secret Rasputin bunker or something like that from Season of the Worthy. And so I get the feeling that the Lament Quest is something that we'll get a bit later on this season personally. But between now and then, of course, there may be the seasonal exotic in the form of Hawkmoon, and then we've also got Cloudstrike and the raid exotic. So there are plenty of exotics at least left to hunt yet. Speaking of stuff to hunt down though, of course Season of the Hunt content begins next week, and there are a couple of updates to vendors. So initially, Osiris is actually now standing in the bazaar in the tower, not too far away from Akora, And the crow isn't visible in the game, but if you go to the spider's den, there is kind of a little side wing that's been opened up for where we'll be able to find the crow. It also looks like we're going to get access to an interesting catalyst, so the Leviathan's Breath catalyst is now going to be available. And we can see from the upgrade description that defeating high-tier Wrathborn with any weapon or ability will unlock this objective significantly faster, obviously confirming that the Leviathan's Breath catalyst will be associated with that new content. It's interesting that they've decided to add a catalyst to that weapon right now. But we're also able to get a better look at the Cryptolith Law for the season, which we'll talk about in just a moment. However, very briefly, I wanted to share something pretty cool with you guys in the form of a frozen collector's edition for Beyond Light that was sent to me by Bungie and Premier Games. So I shared a picture of this on Twitter. Some folks wondered if it was actually ice, and yes, it is actually frozen, or it was at least, with a collector's edition inside. And a guy did come to my front door in a refrigerated van and kindly explained why on earth he had a block of ice, as well as how to open it. And you did kind of get the option of either destroying it, or you could carefully sort of unbox it because, as you can see, it's actually sealed slabs of ice that are put together to make a box, so you can kind of pop it open like a frozen crate. Obviously something I thought was pretty awesome and definitely worth sharing with you guys. So once again, massive thank you to Bungie. It was quite the urgent surprise. Obviously I had to grab my camera real quick. We didn't want the thing to melt or anything after all that much effort. So once again, pretty awesome. And moving on, we can speak a little bit about the Cryptolith Law, which is going to be the new kind of loot system for the Season of the Hunt content. So we can see, looking at it in the database, that you can configure the law to enable a Wrathborn hunt, and each hunt will consume a law charge, and then charges can be obtained by completing Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible matches. So it's going to be one of those where we're earning like part of the currency for it through various playlist activities. But the law is filled with different sockets, so the intrinsic sockets that it will have will be the mod slot, and that'll be for the prey. So basically, this dictates which target we'll go after in the hunt. We can see Prey Mod Savik. This mod enables the law to attract the fallen Wrathborn Savik. It also has powerful rewards 4 listed there. And then there is a weak mutation slot. Insert a trophy mod into this slot to enable a tier 1 Wrathborn hunt. And you get mods like All Around, where armor obtained from a hunt will roll with higher than average stats. And you can select different stat biases for those, or set the bonus to have things like the velocity or range mod for weapons, where weapons obtained from a Wrathborn hunt will include a velocity or range masterwork. And then you get the strong mutation slot as well, and this is for tier 2 Wrathborn hunts, and you have mods to grant you additional recon data, and this is stuff that we'll be able to spend at Aldrin for rewards as well as upgrades. Called him Aldrin again, I mean the crow, of course. And then there are higher bias mods to give you even better chances or even higher stat rolls of certain things. So there are those, and even mods where weapons obtained from a successful hunt will exclude specific perks. And of course we'll have to wait and see how this performs in game to get a bit more of an idea, but we can see that the loot system is definitely going to allow us to target stuff pretty well. And once again, is a combination of various different loot systems that we've seen previously in Destiny, with elements of various different ones working together. So give us your thoughts about that. We can see as well, there will be perks to upgrade on the Crow's menu, so things like unlocking Hive Wrathborn hunts, specifically with upgraded Seeker 1. And an additional reward engram for when you hit certain ranks that'll drop powerful rewards. So gonna be some pretty exciting stuff to look into there, guys. But finally, talking about rewards a little bit, and specifically here some perks that aren't currently listed on any particular weapon in the game, but we've got Recombination, where Elemental Final Blows increase the damage of this weapon's next shot. And these are perks, once again, that aren't tied to any particular weapon, so they aren't listed as being able to actually roll on a weapon yet. You've also got Reconstruction, where the weapon slowly reloads itself over time, up to double capacity. Certainly some pretty powerful sounding bonuses. And Redirection, where damaging rank and file combatants increases damage against more powerful ones. So it's kind of like a targeted version of Rampage or something, right? Stack the damage with the little guys and then use it on the more tankier targets. So just a couple of perks there to mention, which are pretty interesting. And from Twab the other day, there is a list of known issues. And they are much more minor issues than the things we mentioned at the start of the video, right? So if you've been affected by anything in the game, I will link the help articles and forum down below, as they'll deal with some of the rarer and more unusual issues. And otherwise, community managers have ensured players that they are collecting feedback on a bunch of different stuff that folks are talking about with Beyond Light. Stasis, the campaign, rewards, the new destination, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how things pan out over the next few weeks with the rollout of the seasonal content and of course the rest of the roadmap. But for today, guys, that's what we have to speak about in this video. So as always, I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have, a rating down below very much helps us out. But also feel free to get subscribed to the channel so I can keep you up to date with D2 content. And otherwise, for now, I hope you have an awesome day.